Good evening, good evening. Perhaps it is good morning, depending upon where you are on the globe. Tonight's live may be short or longer, it really depends, and it is open topics. First, I would like to greet everyone that may come in and those that may catch the replay. I hope your weekend is going wonderful and you are at peace and joy. That being said, this has been quite an interesting week on the YouTube streets, alleyways, boulevards, drives, so on and so forth. And I would like to start with the chickens coming home to roost. Now, many of us have heard this saying. Hold on for one moment. Okay, that's a neighbor. Anyway, I remember speaking on this late last year, and so many things came to reveal themselves, and we are still, for all intents and purposes, at the very beginning of a new year. And I believe this year, as far as revelations, will be more explosive just by what I'm observing. Now, I will admit I have watched and listened, not to all, but some via the clouds, as many hear or say. And I must say, I'm completely shocked about how much people remember and how much people have forgotten. And I've said this many, many times. And again, it's coming to fruition. It's actually come to fruition for many, but it's just starting for others. Being a quote unquote elder, if that's the label people would like to place upon me, I'm fine with it. I truly am. The more years, the more wisdom, and the more intuitive I become within myself. Hey there, Joseph Smith. How are you? And welcome. Thank you so much for supporting. As I was saying, and I'm going to try to make sure that I pay attention to the chat. Sometimes when I start to speak, I'm looking off somewhere else, remaining focused. You really, and I mean this collectively, have to be in tune with yourself first. And then when you do that, you can at times weed out what or whom may be there to cause harm. And when I say harm, I don't necessarily mean physical harm, although that can happen, but other types of harm to you that may be a detriment. Not everyone is for you. And I would use the word friend, even the word associate, very, very carefully, because if we've watched the news, and I've done several stories on some powerful women with fire under their feet. One in particular facing almost 30 years federal prison over a $5,000 lie. Is $5,000 considerably small? Hey there, Silverback King, how are you? In many people's minds, yes, $5,000 for a former state's attorney may even be deemed as minuscule. However, the conviction or the split verdict, to be more specific, was reached because that one detail, a $5,000 transaction on a federal mortgage application, was found to be inaccurate or basically not true. And it resulted in, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, 30 years in federal prison and also possibly 5 years for perjury. Welcome, Melly. How are you? Those that come in, please make sure you hit the like button, please. And thank you. This is Late Night Open Topics. Melly, you requested I do that, so I'm doing that. I'll be going over, after my brief commentary, Valentine's, or as many will say, Valentine's. If I hear that one time, I'm going to scream. And I'm going to talk about men being scammed. Now, I know a lot of my ladies out here, we get caught up in scams because of our hearts, but men, you do too, and I'm going to be speaking about that later. So again, welcome to those that have come in and those that may catch the replay. So as I was saying, I believe in all of these news cases that someone close to these women, I'm just going to say, ratted them out or provided information. One, in fact, was a whistleblower. Yes, Melly, and I will be speaking on that, and I know you're not going to hit the link. So your comments would be appreciated if you have them to give, and that's for anyone, just as long as you stay respectful. That being said, if that can happen, and it has happened to those in places of power, do you not think, let me go ahead and start this, Melly, so I will not forget. What makes a regular lay person think that it won't happen to them? I have never seen so much flip-flopping as I've seen, and I'm going to just say, and I'm being generous, the last 6 months on social media. People pretending to be friends or associates, or I have your back, or I'm your biggest cheerleader. And all the while some people believe it's other people out there sabotaging them, it's the very ones in the front row. And I've said this time and time again. Some of you And I do not mean to be harsh nor offensive when I say these things, but it's coming from my own personal experience. Stop allowing people, and excuse my voice, I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Stop allowing people to live in your head rent free, to allow you to become paranoid to the point where you're knocked off your own square and you don't know who to believe. My advice to you, and again, this is collectively, believe in yourself. People can tell you anything. People will tell you anything. Many times for personal gain. They don't care about you. They don't care about your growth. I've seen, and I'm not going to call anyone out, that's just not my style. Some people say, well, you shouldn't be subliminal. I disagree. I disagree. If it absorbs your being, then you know the message is meant for you and it's not being said in a malicious way. Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't say anything. But I've seen people, I've seen it in my chat, will just sit there and soak up people and then they'll hop off on their merry way. You never see them again. But you see them in other places, sitting up on panels, chiming in, and then they'll go to another and another and another. That's just, I guess, the YouTube game. But be slow to accuse who you might think is after you and look closer at the patterns and behaviors of others who you think are your right hand man and or woman, because they're not. The hypocrisy is totally overwhelming. And for those of you, and you know deep within your soul, if you truly are honest with yourself, it's only a matter of time before your quote unquote meteoric rise will begin to fall. And that support system you think you may have, because trust me, not everybody is for you. They're using you too, just to get ahead. If you didn't know, you should know. Once you reach the age of 30, 35, discernment at some point should kick in. Embrace your individuality. Sometimes being a part of a following, and that's going to be part of my discussion when I do the Jim Jones Cult Live. And some of the information and commentary that I've taken notes on throughout several sectors will bring that point home. There are many people, from my optics, behave as if they're in a cult that are, in my opinion, brainwashed because of the outside of what an individual or how an individual may appear, not for who they truly are and what they are truly about. You know people by their behavior. And then you have others that follow right along just to be part of a group. I'm not a part of a group. I once was, unknowingly. But after a while, and after, I'll just say after some disappointments, that's the best word that I will use, I woke up. Some of you, not all, but some, are still asleep. Obsession. I'm just going to hit on this for a little bit. And then I'm going to ask a serious question. And it's not for me to judge because I don't judge. I can't judge. There's no way. When you allow a large portion of your life to be so enamored with an individual, to me that screams red flag. Now, I get the entertainment factor. I even get the shock jock value. But I'm speaking about obsession that, to me, sometimes may catapult into the area of delusion. My question is, if suddenly you had no access to social media and to content creators, those of you with pages, if that was suddenly taken away, what would you do? Many of us, not all, work. Some of us have businesses, but for those who rely strictly on social media, what would you do? Would you be able to handle it? Are you able to go one day, 24 hours without going live, without posting a video, without logging in? Again, you don't have to answer that to me. Just ask yourself that. Engage. If you are possibly addicted to social media, and if that is causing you issues, interpersonal issues, issues on the job, issues at home, issues at school, issues with other people. That is my commentary on that. Again, 2023 ended in a blast. 2024 has already started to remove the masks of many. People may wonder, how come you don't come over this chat anymore or that chat anymore? I'm extremely, I don't want to use the word loyal, but I'll use the word supportive. And I expect that to be reciprocated. Once it is not, and especially if there is no reason provided behind that, I will slowly leave and I will take my support with me. So for any of those who might wonder why, that's the reason. Nothing more, nothing less. No resentment, but I value my time because I know that is something I can never get back, and I'm not going to waste it on anyone. I'm much too old for that. That being said, Valentine's Day. And before I go any further, let me place up, if I can find it, excuse me, because I am laying down. Here we go. The Fair Use Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which states allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and/or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and/or incorporation of material by others which might be infringing under other circumstances. Now that I have that formality out the way, let me get back down to what I was speaking about. Valentine's Day. Love. Romance. But let us see what Valentine's Day really is. Hey there, JB2. Happy Saturday. As I was saying, Valentine's Day. What is Valentine's Day? Now, if y'all keep that lingo up that I'm not familiar with, I'll boot you. Remember or not. Now, let's see. Valentine's Day. According to Wikipedia, and I'm just going to show a little of this. Valentine's Day is also called Saint Valentine's Day or the Feast of Saint Valentine's. It's celebrated annually on February the 14th. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Valentine, and through later folk traditions, it has become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world. Now, this is a part I want to speak on. Commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world. Let me get back over. Thank you, Melly. Thank you. So, now that we see what Wikipedia has stated about Valentine's Day and the commercial factors, do you believe that love/romance should be just this one day? And for those of you that actually celebrate Valentine's Day or Saint Valentine's Day, do you do it all year long? And be honest, because late December, early January, many of the stores, you see the roses and the candies and the snuggly bears and everything else. But after the 14th, they'll go on the clearance rack or clearance bin until next year. So for those of you that are listening, your thoughts on if Valentine's Day should be celebrated just on the 14th or all year long. And the next part of the question is Valentine's Day. Is it more so for the woman or more so for the man? I'm going to drop this just to see something. Hold on for one moment, Silverback King. There we go. Silverback King, and thank you for your comment, says it should be celebrated or practiced year-round with your loved one. Now, I would say that's a generic answer and an answer that most people would want to hear, but is that actually done? And for those that may be listening and cuddled up or driving, I'll read what Silverback King left as a comment in reference to Valentine's Day. It should be celebrated or practiced year-round with your loved one. Now with that, Silverback King or anyone else, Melly, don't get quiet now. Or JB too, don't get quiet now. What practices should be done year-round with your loved one, and should it be expected to be monetary? Or what other things can be shown to your quote unquote loved one or loved ones during the celebration that Silverback King says should be celebrated and practiced year round with your loved one? And then the next question I have, and I know some of you, or most of you, may not be honest about this, but in your opinion, for those that celebrate Valentine's Day, who comes first? Your mother, your wife, and of course, this is for the men, or your baby's mother or mothers. Again, for those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day, who should come first? Your mother, your wife, or your baby's mother or mothers? And why? And Melly says, I live every day to the fullest. I don't focus on particular days marked on a calendar. For example, I like turkey and dressing multiple times per year. Absolutely, I agree with that. I'm going to star that and read it again. I live every day to the fullest. I don't focus on particular days marked on a calendar. That's another topic that I'll go into at another time, these calendars. For example, I like turkey and dressing multiple times per year. Absolutely. But as it relates to Valentine's Day, what other behaviors can be shown? Oh my goodness, Lady DJ, thank you. May your blessing be returned abundantly. Again, thank you so much, Lady DJ, for everything. And you know exactly what I mean by everything. And if you don't, I'll just say thorough history lessons. And I'll leave it at that. Again, thank you for your blessing. Respect to you as well. Again, for everything. That was so sweet and unexpected. Blessings come when you least expect them. So I am truly, truly appreciative of each and every one of you. I actually appreciate when people hit the like button. That's a means of support because I know many people are going through some challenging times. Trust me, I know. So, as far as I was speaking about, what do you do outside of knowing that it's the 14th and the same old? And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but again, I'm a lot older than many of you, but the traditional, I'll say it that way, flowers and candy, what else can you do? Or there's some people that just give money. Do you think that's enough? Will that suffice for some? And I understand that it could be age and demographics involved, where some people don't mind that. But for older people, is there something else people can do that'll show their love? Oh, I know that I'm not, but many people, well, I'll just say this. There are some content creators that continue to say that women in their 50s are senior citizens. And newsflash, I don't have my, what is it, AARP card yet, but I am 55. So again, I don't care. I do not care about the titles, the challenges I have, as long as I keep seeing additional years. Call me what you want. As long as I'm able to respond, I am happy with that. But some of you are ignoring the questions that I had, and I'm not getting on you, men, but one of the questions in the last one was, when it comes to Valentine's Day, if you celebrate it, who comes first and why? Your mother, your wife, or your baby's mother or mothers? And what other things would you do to show your love for your significant other or your family outside of the traditional flowers and candy? And I'll see if Melly responds to that. And I'm not sure if Silverback is still in here. And I'm sure JB is gone. I'm not on my YouTube. I'm on the StreamYard, so I don't know. But that's the question. And again, in my opinion, I believe that St. Valentine's Day is more commercialized. Yeah, okay, Melly. Okay, Silverback is still here. And thank you. Silverback says, I believe the wife should be first. If I have any other men, or as some people say, and I cringe when I hear it, but I'm sorry. If there are any other men's, are there any men's in the house? Do you agree with Silverback King that the wife should be first? I don't know. Maybe I'm nostalgic, but and I miss her so much, and I'm not gonna tear up right now, but and I don't know. Just my mom came first with everything. Reminds me of that old song. I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. So yeah, but Silverback King says, I believe the wife should be first. Melly says, I'm multitasking. I missed the question. The question was, if you celebrate Valentine's Day, who should come first? Your mother, your wife, or your baby's mother, or mothers? That could be a bit lucrative. Melly says, my daughter, wow, my daughter, then mom, then significant other. That's different. Let me think about that. My mother, my daughter, then mom, then significant other. Okay? Silverback King says, but I'm a single dad, so my daughter is always first. Okay, so that's two with the daughters. Well, that's sweet. So you're actually showing your daughters what love is about. It's amazing. And Melly says, I spoil my babies. Nobody comes before them. Wow, that's so sweet. Now, do you spoil babies always financially or in other ways? And just by conversations, Melly, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think that you cover the entire gamut with probably conversation, culture, and everything because some people, and I know this from experience, will shower their children financially and they have them in the best of the best before they can even speak. And when the finances run out, the children sometimes look for those gifts and they sometimes become affected or think, well, maybe mommy or daddy, they don't love me anymore because I don't get these toys or these clothes or this bling anymore. And Melly says, every way possible. Okay? Silverback King says, financially and in other ways, my daughter has been spoiled, but she knows that she is loved. I think that is very important. It's important for boys too, but girls, because we go through so much, and I'm not a man, I'm not a boy, so I can't really speak on that, but I know what I went through when I was little, so it's important. It's extremely important. And I'm going to star that and read it one more time. Financially and in other ways, my daughter has been spoiled, but she knows that she is loved. And that's the most important. Melly says, I am the type of father that I wanted for myself. Wow. Okay. I am the type of father that I wanted for myself. So is there any resentment there? Or you just see fit to do things a different way? It's interesting. Let's see what Molly says. That is interesting, though, that both of you all said your daughters. And Melly says, I go the extra mile and I don't disappoint. Okay, Melly, what is the extra mile? And is it something that you plan? And again, you don't have to answer any of these questions. This is just a basic dialogue. Is it something that you plan or is it spontaneous? And what type of satisfaction do you get when you see the looks or look in the faces of those that you go the extra mile for. I stopped celebrating Valentine's Day years ago, but I would show love, and I show love now in different ways. I think that while it's good to receive financially things that are created with thought, goes a longer way. And again, that's just my opinion. Planning an outing, making sure the logistics are perfectly in place. Those things are extremely, extremely time consuming. But I believe and I know for sure that when you truly, truly love someone, there is nothing you will not do. Sometimes you may be up the entire night knowing you have to work in the morning or you have other obligations, but you love that person so much that you have to make sure that everything is perfect. Melly says, as long as my babies are happy and always smiling, then I know that I'm doing my job successfully. That is awesome. Gold star for you, Marcus. Now let me see if anyone in the chat remembers that line and what movie it came from. Again, gold star for you, Marcus. And if that wasn't a good hint, I'll give you one more hint. Marcus. Let's see who remembers that movie. It's been several years, but it was one of my favorites. But that's an excellent answer to Melly. As long as I have my babies and they're happy and always smiling, then I know I am doing my job successfully. Yes, Silverback King. Boomerang. I can't believe you remembered that. Absolutely. But do you remember Marcus's last name? And do you know who said gold star for Marcus? And do you know who said that famous line, Marcus, many panties on? Yes, yes, Melly. I can't wait till I do my trivia night. Yes, Marcus Graham. Okay. Now, who said gold star for Marcus? She was absolutely beautiful, but kind of a airhead. Halle Berry. She was in the movie, but she didn't say gold star for Marcus. You just messed up my stream, Melly. No, that was Leela Rashawn. Leela Rashawn. Do you remember it? Yes, Leela Rashawn. There you go. Okay. Now we're cooking. So for the men that's still here, and yes, hammer toes, hammer toes. That's kind of cold, but yes, hammer toes. It was excellent, excellent. I may have to watch that now, but yes, that was boomerang. So, and this is the last question that I have. Yes, hammer time that I have in reference to Valentine's Day, and then I'm going to go forward with some scams that some of you may know and some of you may not. What? Oh my goodness, hold on for a second. I have somebody at the doorbell. Hey there.
Well, hello, ma'am. How you doing this evening?
I'm
Oh,
doing
sorry.
good. I'm
Take
doing
this out.
good. Welcome.
I just wanted to say that it's a great topic, and I just wanted to say how much I love your content. And we spoke of the same content last night on my show with my partner, with just ETV, and it's just interesting to listen to your um, analogy about Valentine's Day and love and so forth and so on because we discussed the same topic last night. So I just
Oh, I
appreciate
didn't
you.
know that. I'm going to have
Yes,
to go back and check that.
yes, ma'am. And so it's just ETV's page, and we we talk about topics like this every Friday night at 9. And so I listen in to you. I ghost watch a lot of your content, and I love it. So I just wanted to share that with you and keep doing what you're doing. I would love to interview you um, on my page and just talk about real life grown folks talk. So that's what we're all about.
I would love to. Let me leave my email here. Let me know when you receive it,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we can set that up. Oh, please don't call me ma'am.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know
That's
it's
just
okay. It's
that's
just,
that southern hospitality I have.
and I appreciate it, but I already feel like a fossil. But it's okay.
No, by all means, you're not.
No worries. Hold on. Let's see.
I was trying to find an email address on your page, and I was like, nah, I couldn't find it. So
It's all right. I'll get it to you in one moment. There we go. But yes, just let me know and we can set something up. But yes, I mean, to me, I think it's more commercial now. And again, these are just my opinions, but
yes,
again,
ma'am. I'm sorry.
it's
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Did you discuss whether or not you feel as though this particular day is considered more a quote unquote, I don't want to say holiday, but a day for women as opposed to men? And if so, what is your thought on that?
We discussed. We kind of touched on that a little bit, but as you were stating in your later in earlier, we kind of talked about how it's more commercialized, and it's commercialized, and we talked about basically how the actions and the gifts and the um, affection that you show towards your loved one should be shown year round, not just on one day. Um, we also talked about how you can show your love in many ways, forms, and fashions, um, on both sides, well, men and women. not just with gifts, not just with money and so forth and so on, but um, but for example, I talked about, both of us, we talked about listening, listening to your partner, listening to your significant other. Um, we talked about how you can inclusion, including your loved one, um, bragging on your loved one to others, um, just paying attention to the small, minute things that you know they would not really expect for you to notice, and then all of a sudden you you shower them with a gift, a surprise gift, you know. So just things like that. But Valentine's Day, to answer your original question, it's more so, I think it's more so it's I think sometimes it's expected to have gifts, to get gifts, from, especially from our female. Yeah, I'm not saying all females are like that, but I'm just saying, it's more so expected to have gifts and so forth, so on, and be showered with gifts and with dinner and so forth and so on.
Okay, well, what about more personal type gifts? For example, receiving a pedicure. Now, that's something that I've done, and I know some men are funny about their feet. They don't like their feet to be touched, and there's some men out there I wouldn't touch their feet. But to me, that's extremely romantic and very intimate.
I totally agree. Massages, pedicures, and manicures. I really do agree with that. Um, those things are, in my opinion, are thinking outside of the box. You know what I mean? Massage parlors, like you said, pedicures and manicures. Yes,
I think more people could, again, it's my opinion, get closer when they do those things for one another because it shows that they accept them, flaws and all. And again, you have to. Hey there, Joy. Thank you. You have to truly love someone to basically get the water ready and just take care of your significant other's feet. Washing of the hair. I mean, basic things around the house to me are basic, and you do those things. But as you said, going outside of the box to do those things, I think it takes a lot. And as I said earlier, it's easy to throw money at people or, like I said, cards and the flowers. But when you do things from the heart, that's time consuming. Because pedicures, even if you go to a shop, you're in there a good hour or so.
yes.
If you do it for one another, I just think it'll bring you closer together. I am doing well, Joy, and thank you, Edward. Sorry about that. I was just speaking to those that
Yes,
came
ma'am.
in the chat. No, you
Oh,
go at the,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay because I do that as well. And I have to catch myself. But yeah, those are all things I think can bring you closer. Meals. I did one today, and it's just something that I enjoy.
Absolutely.
I don't do it all the time because I don't have time to. But if someone asks, then why not? Unless you truly cannot. I think sometimes you should go above and beyond, and that can that can mean something different to other people as far as what above and beyond is. But just writing a check, like I said, the traditional flowers and candy, I think, again, in my opinion, we should try to get away from that and get out of the thinking that it's just one day.
I agree. It's one of those things where when you're when people are quick to throw the money and the gifts and so forth and so on, that's an easy route. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, when you're thinking outside the box to uh, show that show your loved one that you love them, um, and you just do the little things, I think those things are most important.
Now, let me ask you something, and I'm not putting you on the hot seat, but
Oh, no, no, no.
from a male point of view, and this is for any males that, or men rather, that are out here, if you're still listening or may catch the replay. If you are or if you are still considered a player, and let's be honest, we have some men out here that are still sowing their oats and wheat and barley and everything else. How do you juggle that on Valentine's Day? Do you do everything for the number one on the 14th, and then the 15th, the number two, three, and four comes along? And do you feel any guilt? Not to say that you're one of them, but you deal with men, you have conversations, I'm sure. Is that something that you discuss?
I well, let me speak for myself. First of all, in the chat, I typed and was chatting with you and giving my opinion. I'm a single dad. I'm not dating or anyone right now. Never been married. Um, I'm not too far away from you in age. I'm 47, so we all have had in our younger days, we've had some wild times and so forth, so on, juggling women and so forth, so on. But when you get to a certain age, when you're my age and you got a teenager that you're trying to raise, and you got so much responsibilities as far as being a father and having a full-time job, working crazy hours, juggling women, and or if you have a significant other and you're juggling different women on the side, to me, in my the stage of my life right now, that is old. You know what I mean? And I don't have time for it. But I do have conversations with young men and gentlemen that work for me or colleagues, and what you just stated, yes, that does happen. But I look at it at this stage of my life, and I'm like, man, how do you have the time to do all that? To shower your significant other and also shower your side piece. So, but we all grow up. You know what I mean? We all grow up at some point in time, and in this stage of my life, I'm at a point to where I have goals, and of course, I've, I have a daughter, and my daughter looks at my behavior. My daughter looks at me, and I don't want my daughter to see me being a certain way out here, just juggling women, because they will see that and later on imitate that or choose men that treat them likewise. You know what I mean? So me, and I'm just preaching to myself. I'm not speaking to anyone else, but with me, I have to set that example for her. So I hope I answered your question.
You did, and that's very, very poignant what you said as far as little girls or adolescents absolutely watch everything. I don't think people realize how much they do watch behaviors. Older people actually emulate behaviors that they see, even if they're wrong, and unfortunately, they'll follow suit, and it becomes a cycle.
Absolutely, and especially with young ladies, I totally agree with what you're saying. I was a young man, and so I know what young men think, and I know what transpires in that. But but once again, going back to your question, me at this stage in my life, you know, if I choose to find someone who to date and to marry, that I'm going to be true to that. I can't be just out here just as you were saying, sowing your raw oats and barley and so forth and so on. So
So you're not age 50 yet, and I'm not going to go deep into the era of Kevin Samuels. May he continue to rest in power, but your mind and heart is still open to marriage.
it is, but at the same time, I have a lot of goals, so forth for myself before I um, think that route. But at this stage of my life, I believe in order for you to be married, and this is just my opinion, I'm speaking for myself. For me to be married, there's goals that I have personally before I engage in that. Um, so that's my mentality right now.
And there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, I've been perusing through these YouTube streets and other sectors, and I'm just amazed. And I shouldn't say that because I know that marriage takes a lot of work. It can be difficult, and there are some people that separate. Sometimes they find themselves, they find a way back to one another, and it's stronger. Than you have some that unfortunately they drift apart and they're never able to mend what they had in the beginning. I'm at an age now that honestly, if if it comes, fine. And if it does not, I'm fine with that too, because there is no way, and this is from experience, I want to go through unnecessary stress or feeling the need to snoop through phones or pockets. That can actually drive one nutty. And I did that a long time ago. I'm not doing that again. I've moved on. I'm happy. I may even say content because there's still things I want to do. I've experienced a lot, but there's still a few more things I want to do. And I don't want to have that stymied by someone that it just isn't there and just isn't right.
I I share the same sentiments with you, DoeEyes. Um, I'm at a stage in my life where I'm not 50 yet. I'm 47. But if I'm if I find someone, then that's fine. But if not, then I'm cool with that as well. But I have a lot of things that I would like to do. Um, and like I said, I have a lot of goals in mind, financially, um, uh, socially, a lot of goals in mind. So, but if there's that special lady out there that I can share that with, then that's fine. I'm not saying I'm never going to get married, but I would rather just be alone than to just settle. You know what I mean? Just settle for just anything less than what's best for me in my life. So I totally agree with you, and I'm with you on that.
Absolutely. And you do know that there is a population of people, especially when it comes to women and women over 50, They'll look at you funny. Oh, you're not married yet? Is something wrong with you? Well, you don't know what my last relationship was. And yes, I've been engaged, and thank God I dodged that bullet. Some people will place jackets on people, and at one time, I fell into that same mode of thinking. Well, if I'm not married by a certain age, then I'm going to be deemed a failure. So I don't know if men feel the same way at a certain age if they haven't tied the proverbial knot yet. It's just for me, if I decide to do it, I want to make sure that it's right and I won't be in somebody's court a year or so later. I just don't want to do that.
Absolutely. Men also think that way. I'm speaking for myself as well on that as well. Um, but then I'm thinking about the men that are my age that are married and they are not happy. Uh, they tend to, well, I mean, they tend to, dip off into other uh, women's business, vice versa. So, I'm thankful that I don't have to go through all that, and legally, I'm thankful that I don't have to go through all that. I have been asked, well, why don't you, on a daily basis, just about on a daily basis, why are you single? You're this, you're that, and they don't understand, what I've been through in the past. And when you're going through bad relationships, you don't want to go through that stuff again. You don't want to repeat that. So you're very careful about who you choose and who you talk to and who you spend your time with. And so again, Miss DoeEyes, I totally agree with you on that.
Absolutely. And I will piggyback off of your sentiment. Yes, when you go through certain things, you definitely do not want to go through that again. Some of that, I will say, has to do with trust. And once your trust is tarnished, at least for me, and I'm speaking just for me, it will take a long time for me to be able to trust at that level again. Now, will I be paranoid? No, but you best believe I'm going to be paying attention to body language and consistency. And that's where I think a lot of people make mistakes. They'll start off one way and then slowly, it's like an EKG. You'll see the ebbs and the flows, and then once it goes down and the consistency starts to wane, then that's when a red flag should come up. But I think many people, and again, this is my opinion, they ignore that particular red flag when I actually pay very close attention to that. If you're not consistent, if it's abrupt, then you definitely should be wide awake. But if it's slow, you still should be paying a lot of attention to it because something or someone has caused what used to be in the ebb to go down. And people, like I said, in my opinion, they ignore that red flag. And then by the time you find out, okay, something really was going on, you'll say, well, I didn't see any signs. Well, you did, but you ignored it.
Correct. The key, the key word that you said was consistency. Um, that's one of the things that we also talked about in our discussion last night. Consistency. Do what you did from the beginning of the relationships to get her or to get him. You have to keep those things. You have to keep those things and be consistent with it throughout your relationship. We were talking about simple things like flirting. You know what I mean? Flirting with each other. Having that eye contact. whenever there's a crowded room and she, and if you're at a party or so forth and so on, and you see your loved one from a distance and you have certain looks, that you give, those things, those things that you did um, before you caught her attention, to get her attention, I should say, or get his attention, you should keep those things up. Once those things start, you don't have those things anymore, you don't do those things anymore. I totally agree with you. There's a reason why um those you don't do those things anymore. So um you were talking about red flags and so forth and so on. You have to pay attention, you know what I mean? And I'm with you. The trust issue, once the trust factors are broken, you know, and I'm a big component on trust, because if you break my trust in a relationship, then it's hard for me to move forward. I guess mentally, I can move forward, but mentally, when you're trying to be in another relationship, then that is always going to be in the forefront of your mind. Is that going to happen again? Am I going to get burnt again? So absolutely.
You're absolutely correct on that. And the next person will feel like they have to pay the wages for what the previous person did. And it's not fair to them. And I'll be the first to admit, I know for a fact I run off some good people because maybe I didn't give myself enough time to heal and started to question too much. And I learned men don't like to be questioned or nagged like that. And at first, I truly didn't know I was doing that, but it happened. So you have to heal, number one, in my opinion, and just take your time.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate that the person that you're talking to, after you have dealt with a lot of issues in the past, it's unfortunate that when we're trying to get to know someone, and they take the brunt of some of the things that we have gone through. You know what I mean? And so that's unfortunate. But it all goes back to um, trust and consistency. And as you were saying, acknowledging those red flags before uh, there's a big blow up.
Indeed, and I think that more mature individuals should be cognizant of red flags. I mean, we see enough videos, we've heard many stories, we've seen many TV shows, and to me, art does imitate life in many ways. There comes a point in time we have to be aware of these red flags, and even though it may be hurtful to you in the very beginning, I'd rather be hurt in the very beginning and realize, you know what, I need to just go ahead and cut my losses, or they may say that, than to invest and find yourself really caught up just to be in the same situation once again.
Absolutely. Um, and it all goes back to Miss Doe Eyes. It all goes back to uh, just not just not getting into relationships just for the sake of getting into a relationship. I think people tend to be pressured by family, friends to be in relationships. I think people tend to be pressured by looking at other people and just going by what other people are doing, because you can't just do that. You have to take your time and be patient. What works for you, what works for everybody else does, it's not necessarily going to work for you. So being in a relationship is a serious thing, in my opinion. So you can't just, just jump into a relationship and just think that um, everything is just going to be hunky dory. It takes work. It takes hard work, just like in anything else in life. You have to work at it.
Absolutely, and I believe the end game should be when we see actual seniors that are out on the park benches or just spending time together, that have been together 35, 40, maybe 50 years. You know that they've had some knockdown, drag outs, but whatever reason, they were able to weather it all. To me, that's my ideal. Will I ever see that? Who knows? Like I said, if it happens, it happens, but I don't want to be 6 foot under because of someone else. I've seen that too many times, and I made a promise. No, there is no way if I can help it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing that we're talking about these things because, like I said, we talked about this last night, and it's just a multitude of conversations within conversations with topics like this. And I just had to jump in, and I just had to show my support to you. I've always supported you, but I always comment every now and then just to show my support. But I just had to jump on and just let you know that I appreciate you. I would love, 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 love to have you on my channel. And my partner and I, it's just ETV. We would love for you to come up on our show sometimes. And but I really appreciate it. I got an up and coming channel. Folks like yourself have encouraged me to put out content that is thinking outside the box. A lot of people in different sectors, they do uh, you know their thing, but I appreciate what you're doing, and that's the direction that I want to do. But I really appreciate you.
And I appreciate you as well. And I would love to come to your channel and your show. Just email me and we can set something up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There we go with the ma'am again. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. I understand. No
But
worries.
I'll get your email and I'll email you back. But I appreciate you having me on, and I will. This won't be the last time, so I'll be reaching out to you.
Awesome.
You have a good night, man.
You too, sir. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, bye bye. Okay, that was Silverback King. And thank you. Thank you for your input. Thank you for coming up. And I look forward to speaking to you further. And I see you out there, Facebook with the hearts. So, next topic is men being targeted. Now, when we think about scams, oftentimes we think about the women being scammed and told what we want to hear just to be used and left for broke. Well, there's an up and coming scam that is becoming more prevalent, and it is in reference to many different things, but I'm just going to focus on Cash App. So, to the men out there and to the loved ones of these men out here that like to enjoy a sip or two at the local bars or hotel bars, please be aware that some of these women, and I have a particular subscriber that we've had a discussion once, and we talked about the attributes of women. Some of you men need to be careful when some of these women with these attributes come up to you at these bars, and then you find yourself downing 1, 2, or 3 drinks. And the way this particular scam goes, the woman may flirt a little bit with you, and during the exchange of telephone numbers, and keep in mind, you don't even know where you are at the time because you've already indulged in quite a bit of adult beverages. She says, "Oh, let me put my number in your phone. If you do not have some of your programs to include Cash App locked, this is where the scam comes in. Your information is already there. These women will Cash App themselves through your account. Now, this has started not too long ago, but it's on the rise. So again, if you're out partying, and this is probably a perfect segue into the big game tomorrow, those of you that are going out, you know that women are going to be at these venues. Make sure you have added security on your phones, or just don't get caught up with that. Hide your phone. Do not give anybody your phone. I don't care how much you drink. Before you drink, hide your phone, or at least lock it. Because that's a horrible, horrible thing to realize, that you've met this woman, she's flirted with you. Basically, you're drunk out of your mind, and before you know it, she's gone. Your money is gone from Cash App because you didn't have the security needed for it, and you gave some random person access to your phone unknowingly. But still, you have to be extremely careful about who you meet in these bars. And I'm going to attempt to share the screen and show a quick story that's similar. Again, this is fair use. As you can see, crew allegedly targeted drunk men at high-end Manhattan bars, steal up to $20,000. Close that. In a scheme that sounds like a movie plot, a criminal crew was arrested after allegedly intoxicating men with their charms and booze at bars in Manhattan, and then robbing them to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to police.
Pretty high-end bars in Lower Manhattan, targeted by a criminal crew setting its sights on people who are drunk.
Yeah, police say that crew would lure in men, then clean them out, then spend 6 figures on luxury products. Today, 2 people face charges in that case. News 4's Davia Acevedo live from Lower Manhattan with more on how this worked and what one of the victims is saying, Gabi.
Well, Natalie, first off, this is part of a year-and-a-half-long investigation where police say a crew was targeting, as David mentioned, and exploiting drunk men at high-end bars in Lower Manhattan. We spoke to a victim who got stolen from his credit card and cell phone. Exclusive video obtained by News 4 shows police officers preparing to execute 5 arrest warrants this morning. The cops targeting men and women preying on men socializing at clubs and bars in Lower Manhattan.
They have been removing cell phones and credit cards. Once they get the victim's property, they've been going to high-end stores as well as Apple, where they have been running up charges upwards of $100,000 to $200,000 per incident.
Julian Pomales and Blerina Preluchka face a judge in Manhattan court today. Prosecutors say Pomales was the ringleader. He allegedly directed women to chat up men and gain their trust before robbing them.
So, there you have it. He was the ringleader who had a group of women to target these men. And unfortunately, the end result was the men being robbed of their cell phones, credit cards, etc. So again, please do not think these things cannot happen to you, because they can. Always be cognizant of your surroundings and with those that you choose to hang out with. Make sure that you truly know them, because they too could be, and I'm not saying that they are, but could be part of a scam to set you up. Never, unless it's somebody you trust 100% and beyond, allow anyone to know everything about you, especially when it deals with finances, things that could leave you financially bankrupt. If you have businesses, all of your important papers and information, be wary of who you entrust that information as well, because you do not want to be in a situation where you've entrusted your so-called partner and there's an underlying scheme. And we've seen this too many times now to bring you to financial ruin. And lastly, the Super Bowl. Again, my team, America's team, will not hoist the coveted Lombardi trophy again for, I believe, the 28th year, but somebody will tomorrow. Will it be the 49ers or will it be the Chiefs? To be honest, I really don't know. But I'm going to choose the 49ers with a final score of, let me think, 27-21. Yes, that's my prediction. The 49ers over the Chiefs, 27-21. After dinner's out the door, I'm going to lay back and relax and get ready for a brand new week. and enjoy the festivities. That is my show tonight. Thank you for those that stopped by. Thank you again, Lady DJ, for your blessings. Thank you to Joy, Melly, JB2 for your memberships. May those blessings be returned to you abundantly. Thank you for Joseph Smith, who came in earlier. Thank you to Silverback King, who joined on the platform. And make sure I didn't miss anyone else. Edward Castillo, thank you so much. And you all enjoy the remainder of your Saturday, perhaps Sunday. Until next time, be safe, be well, and you know the rest. Be healthier.